You are listening to the Two and Out CFL podcast, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
Grab some poutine and a double-double. It's time for the Two and Out CFL podcast.
He's got it! Oh, baby!
Every week, Travis Currah.
That's Grey Cup me, which is a different person.
And Brazilian Ty.
Punters are people too.
Talk fantasy football, bring you the latest in CFL news, and sprinkle in a little bit of nonsense.
Oh, nearly intercepted, and it's over!
Ready, set, hunt!
And we are part of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown, community supported. It's Travis Currah and Brazilian Ty as we near the end of February. It's kind of funny. Last time we record, it's 2 days before the Super Bowl, and I mentioned nothing about it. So, did you do well with your bets or no?
Yeah, not terrible. I didn't lose
okay.
$5,600 like I did in 2017.
I had a rough February. So the last time we record, I had just locked my keys in my truck. It happened again the next week.
I was going to say for the first time.
And then family day long weekend, I went driving into the bush with my little old crappy Ranger, got stuck, phone dead. Had to walk back to town.
Why is your phone dead?
The cold.
Why are you driving to the bush with a dead phone?
The cold killed it. That's my defense.
You didn't have it plugged in the truck?
No, I didn't bring a cord. Mistake number 8. Look, a lot went wrong to create that situation. I'm well aware.
No. News to me.
15 on the list. Like the perfect.
No. Usually programs are only 12 steps.
So let's hope March is a little less turbulent.
Any worse?
No, it can't.
Wow.
I guess it could.
But hey, your Devils got Timo Meyer.
Yeah, look at that. That's a pretty good ad.
For 3 months.
Yeah. This episode of Two and Out brought to you by Park Power, your friendly local utilities provider in Alberta, offering internet, electricity, and natural gas with low rates, awesome service, and profit sharing with local charities. In Alberta, it's awesome. You get to choose who to buy your internet, electricity, and natural gas from. So if you choose Park Power, you're choosing a positive local business. Plus, Park Power shares its profits with local not-for-profits that are working to make a difference for their communities. Shopping local, it's very important to Park Power's owner, Chris Kozowski, and we love local here at the Alberta Podcast Network, so it's a great fit. You can learn more at parkpower.ca. There's actually been a few pretty big news items since the last time we recorded, and the last time we recorded, it was before free agency officially opened, but it seemed like we knew kind of 90% of what was going to happen the day that it opened, so there hasn't really been maybe that many big surprises happening. I guess maybe the big thing that happened in the past week or 10 days or so is that the Montreal Alouettes have been taken over by the Canadian Football League, and they've started that accelerated process to find a new owner for the club. Here we are again. And look, Stern and Spiegel, it was a short tenure, but probably integral to get the team through the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
They were willing at that time to prop up the franchise through it. And the unfortunate passing of Sid Spiegel, it just, what can you do?
That just blew the whole situation up.
Exactly. So I think if they get this to local ownership, I think that it could end up being a pretty good thing for the Alouettes here in the end, really.
That, and I mean, the sooner that this is resolved, probably the better. Like you said, they propped them up during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens to the Alouettes if they don't come in.
Right.
The CFL lot was going to lose so much already, and then if they would have had to prop that up too, I don't know what would have happened. It could have been another situation where we lose a Montreal franchise again. Local would obviously be the best choice.
Yep.
if you can find somebody to step in and do that, you want that stability. You want somebody that's involved more in the, or not saying that the Stern and Spiegels weren't, but like you want somebody that's involved in the community. You want them to feel like it's it's Montreal. It's not just somebody from the outside, like with the Boston Red Sox being owned by somebody overseas.
Yeah.
That the Boston Red Sox suffer because they're worried more about their soccer team, like stuff like that. Like you want it to feel as one unit, and you can get like kind of like Saskatchewan, how really every team in the CFL, like the community presence has to be, on field is important, all that stuff, but community presence has to be at near the top of the list, because that's how you get fans to come out.
Especially on the smaller scale of the CFL, like the Boston Red Sox, that brand, like the brand is so like almost bulletproof, that it doesn't really matter who's signing the checks. Well, at some point, it does, to build that connection with the fans, but I think it just means so much more in a league like the CFL. It should be about the fans, and that's, I think, a part of why there's such a passionate group of people that follow this league.
Do you think if a Calgary businessman bought the Elks, the people would be like ecstatic?
No, they would be.
or like if Rogers bought the Ticats.
Wait, I thought Hamilton was Toronto.
Yeah, but that's not the point. Like I'm putting that joke aside to make this reference.
Look at that. The Ticats get to play in the Sky Dome. And the Argos, they can still... They might even be able to bring back McLeod Bethel Thompson.
Well, and if they do play at Rogers, the infield is staying in.
Yeah. Yeah, we could do the old Oakland Coliseum days in Canada. Why not?
Candlestick.
Last note of the Owls.
That part of the country had such a bad reputation with stadiums, didn't they?
Did.
Pacific Northwest, stay hot.
Mario Cecchini, he's back as the team's interim president, which is good. His contract wasn't renewed with the Owls, and now he's back to take care of the day-to-day operations. So a
little bit of continuity.
Yeah. As far as on the field stuff goes, they did sign Ciante Evans, which is a pretty good addition to that secondary. And they did acquire Jesse Gibbon, the offensive lineman from the Edmonton Elks, in exchange for the team's second round pick in the 2024 draft. I thought Gibbon was a good addition for Edmonton. 26 years old, didn't stick around long. That's what Chris Jones does. So the Owls are gonna have him with them next year. Now, I did mention McLeod Bethel Thompson. I was under the impression that he would be playing in the CFL this year. And it has been said multiple times by Farhan Lalji and other reporters that it was never about the money for him. And because his wife does well. He just wants to keep living his dream and playing football. But after free agency, he's done. He's playing in the USFL, and he's actually going to take a pay cut than what he would have made with the Argonauts this year. It's kind of funny. I don't want to compare the guys, but it's almost like his statement was more complimentary to the CFL than Nathan Rourke's was, which was interesting to me. I found, and McLeod Bethel Thompson's a bit of an interesting guy, and his leadership style, he's so hard on himself, and there were a few times in the last few seasons where he's like, we need to protect this 3-down game. I've become a fan of this guy, and he got kind of jerked around by the Argos a little bit.
That's what I was going to say. For him to say what he said, is it just shows you the kind of person he is, because of what he went through, being cut, what was it, 4 times? Yeah. And still coming back to them. Like, it was nuts. And
now he kind of did the same to the Argos.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, you have to do what's right for your family.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, the money is whatever, but I mean, if his wife is going to make enough to,
Yeah,
and they can afford the pay cut and everything, I mean, then so be it. And I mean, it makes it look, and we talked about this season with Rourke. Is he going to be around? Is he going to have NFL looks? He used the CFL as a springboard, which is fine.
Good for him.
Just don't hide it. Don't lie to us.
Yeah. Now, I guess as far as 2023 goes, the Argos going to be in good shape with Chad Kelly.
Well, they'll probably get to 4 straight Grey Cups and lose them, but
I love that. Now, the Argos, they've still been able to maintain a pretty darn good roster around the quarterback. I was kind of wondering if Enoch Mwamba would be back. He's back.
Well, how much are they spending on the quarterback position now?
That's true. It's like last year with BC, right?
Yeah.
So the Argos they're going to be an interesting team to watch again. I mean, Orimalad from Calgary's now in Toronto. Mwamba's back. The linebackers, Jordan Williams, they got the Canadian from BC. Mwamba, Winton McManus, they're still going to be a good team. It's just all about, do you like what you see from Chad Kelly? And I think at minimum, he's probably going to generate some highlights, good or bad. And I think he'll get some people talking, man.
No press is bad press, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But you look at it, who else, what other options did they have at the quarterback position by the time this all came down? Everybody had already picked where they were going. The only guy available was Dane Evans. And you're not going to trade for him.
Nope.
Unless you're BC. Which doesn't make any sense to me. But
great segue. Dane Evans is now a BC Lion, and I think people were kind of wondering, are they just going to flip him to Toronto? We saw that happen.
That's what I fully expected. Yeah. I expected Hamilton. People are saying trade this guy. It's like, well, does he? If you want him traded, then he obviously doesn't have value. So what are you going to get in return? Are you just willing to take a 7th round pick? Because then you might as well just waive him. And they don't do that. They get something from BC, but I mean, BC's quarterback room is pretty crowded now.
The Ticats get a conditional 4th round pick in the 2024 CFL draft after sending Dane Evans to the West Coast. You've said it multiple times on this show. Dane said it himself. He likes to have, I guess, another guy that he's competing with in the quarterback room, which is kind of a strange thing to say.
That's like Wayne Gretzky saying, I can't do it. I just can't play this good without a second line center that I never play with.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Well, now Vernon Adams Jr. and Dane Evans, that's an interesting room, but they also have Dominic Davis, who's going to get 16 rushing touchdowns, and
I don't know who so Vernon Adams Jr. gets hurt. Who are you starting?
Well, do you want good? No turnovers or good turnovers, but if you want turnovers, they're serving them up in Vancouver.
On a platter.
Well, and they also bring in Sean Lemon, who at 34 years old had his best season for
the 3rd time.
Yeah, he's a Lion. He's ageless. Again. It's incredible.
And I believe he's the active leader in quarterback sacks too.
Yeah. So that's unless Charleston plays again.
I don't think Hughes has a team. So
it's funny. Yeah. If you look at the defensive line roster on BC on their website, it actually covers my entire screen. So it's going to be quite the room come training camp, but there's actually a lot of recognizable names they've got. Obviously Sean Lemon,
it's like a junior A invitee camp.
Stephen the Stove Richardson, Nathan Cherry from Saskatchewan, Matthew Betts, Woody Barron, Josh Banks. At the absolute minimum, they're going to be fresh.
Matthew Betts and Sean Lemon. Betts and Lemon together.
That'll be something
and
on
you kind of
CFL
just fill
Wired.
in the rest of the defensive line. Like, oh.
Yeah. This is going to be the Lions are going to be quite the interesting team. And I know they lost, Brian Burnham coming out of the year, but they were able to bring Rhymes back. And
that opened up a lot of cap room, though.
Yeah, yeah. Justin McInnes from the Riders is now in BC. And I just think that Keon Hatcher is probably going to have a career year coming up for the Lions here. And he's only coming into his third or fourth year. Yeah, third full season. He had his first 1,000-yard season last year. Played all over the offense. He's probably going to be a guy to, I think, watch in BC. He'll be getting the ball a lot more. He had 70 catches as it was just last year.
Well, like you said, played all over the offense, like, inside, outside, field side, bound. It didn't matter. He just kind of did what he was told. Yeah. And you get all the different routes, all the different positions, what you're doing, and it just makes you a better receiver. And I think between him and Rhymes, I think you got two guys that are going to get you 1,000 yards each and still be threats to get lots of touchdowns.
Mike Jones, the defensive back, is heading to BC as well. That guy's made some plays himself. But the Ticats, if Grey Cups were won in February, the Ticats are probably the champs. Now.
If Grey Cups were won the week before Grey Cup.
Yeah. Now, if I look at this roster and say Craig Dickinson was coaching. So you got Duke Williams, Simone Lawrence, and Chris Edwards. How short are our memories? Chris Edwards was fighting Ticat fans not 2 years ago.
In BMO, though. In BMO. It wasn't at.
Is he going to fight Argo fans in BMO now?
Just go straight up heel turn.
Chris Edwards, he reminds me a lot of Happy Gilmore. I wonder if that's what we're going to see next year. Like, he's ready to snap. He's ready to throw the club. And then Vanessa looks at him and he
throw.
Yeah. Brings it down. Like,
also Shooter should have won that tournament because Happy didn't record shots he missed. And those are penalty strokes. Those are strokes. Those are still strokes when you miss the ball.
So Simone and Edwards on the same defense. That's not a team right now that I really want to deal with.
No, but if you're an offense, you're looking at a free 30 yards a game.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Maybe a half.
Ooh. I don't want to go that far.
Let's just look at those additions in Hamilton. Kwaku Boateng is there now. Jagera Davis is back there, so I guess that's a guaranteed Grey Cup berth at least. Ted Laurent is sticking around. Casey Sales from Winnipeg, obviously. Bo Levi Mitchell. Well, and then Jameer Thurman and Fraser Sopik, linebackers from Calgary. Joel Figueroa from BC. Like I said, if Grey Cups were won in February, they got James Butler from BC at running back, which they won't use, so he'll be used mostly as a passing guy.
I don't understand that signing at all.
They should go 0 running back and 6 receivers.
Yeah.
Why not? And
air raid.
They were able to re-sign Tim White. So the Ticats on paper right now, they are the beasts of the East, man.
It feels like we're shaping up for another Hamilton-Toronto East final, which I'm perfectly fine with.
Yeah.
I just getting there. Like, Hamilton is going to be a team that should be relatively fun to watch, just because of all the new faces. Like, you got Bo in somewhere other than Calgary. Is it Bo? Is it Dave Dickinson to get, it's the Brady Belichick situation. Like,
right.
I'm not calling Bo Tom Brady by any means, but I mean, you look at the active quarterbacks in CFL right now, and he's the most prolific guy they've got.
Yeah.
In the league. So like, it's going to be nice to see, or it'd be fun to watch, like how that plays out, whether or not it's a system thing or if he is actually just a gunslinger and can do it anywhere. And then you look at the James Butler signing is useless. No offense to James Butler, but they're not going to use him.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless Bo gets to make his own calls.
Yeah.
And the defense is going to be a freaking nightmare.
Well, if you look at Mitchell offenses, how many good running backs did he work with in Calgary? He always had, they always had a back ready to go. And I thought that it would have been cool to see Wes Hills if he got the ball in Hamilton more, but he went to the USFL. So, I mean, can't fault the guy. He's going to go home and see if he can make some cash with them.
Play for a season, make some cash, the league will fold, and he'll be back.
Exactly. The rinse and repeat cycle with spring football in the US of A.
The only spring football the states care about are scrimmage games at like the red and white game at Nebraska and stuff like that.
Well, I think Ottawa's going to have a thing to say too about Hamilton and Toronto.
I don't think so.
You're not worried about them at all?
No.
Well, I mean,
they're going to be better.
Yeah. Obviously there, Masoli and Arbuckle going to be in the quarterback room. They were able to bring in Canadian receiver Lamar Durant, which I think he's still got potential. He just needs to stay on the field, man. If he can stay on the field, he'd be able to make some plays for that Red Blacks offense. Sherrod Baltimore and Abdul Kenna are staying in Ottawa as well. It looks like maybe Devontae Williams is going to be their running back going into the season. William Powell, maybe he retires, but he hasn't signed anywhere. So maybe that's an area that is interesting looking at Ottawa's roster. And Drew Desjardins, the offensive lineman, that is a pretty big addition to that Ottawa offensive line. So there's going to be some battles in the East. Well, they got Shaq Evans too, so maybe he replaces Darvin Adams. Looks like he hasn't signed anywhere either, the veteran in the CFL. So the West probably going to be pretty tight. I mean the East, but the West, I was thinking about predicting this thing. Like, to me,
Saskatchewan finishes 5th.
It's probably still Winnipeg, obviously.
Like at some point, it's not going to be.
Yeah. Is this the year? I mean, Kenny the King Lawler and Zach Collaros back together.
This is not the year.
And like Collaros, I mean, the offense throws more than when Lawler was in Winnipeg before. So it's going to be completely different. Edmonton's going to be better. I like the moves that BC has made, even though they lost their quarterback. So they're going to be fun to watch. There's more optimism in Saskatchewan, I'll say now, than 2 months ago. I know it does appear they're going to lose Darnell Sankey. I think he did sign in the XFL. So he's the Arlington Renegades.
I saw his jersey this morning.
Oh, he was
Twitter.
playing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he showed his new jersey.
So, I mean, with Trevor Harris there, we had a lot of great conversations about this over the weekend. It's like him and Fajardo, maybe they get the same results. They're completely different guys, though. Harris,
I think Trevor Harris helps the O-line a lot more than Fajardo did.
He's a better passer, and he'll get the ball away way faster than Fajardo. So
yes,
and of course the Riders made some moves on the O-line. So they've brought in some guys here. Philip Blake back in Saskatchewan. Peter Godber's a CFL veteran. He's been around a few years. So they're bringing in some guys here. And then like you said, if they're running more and Harris is there, he can be a bit hot and cold. Sometimes he looks like this guy can throw for 500 yards, and he has done it.
Yep.
But if they're going to be having that strategy of getting the ball away quickly, I think that will help some of those younger guys if they're keeping them around on the O-line for sure.
Well, and I mean, you saw the picture. I don't know who posted it. I don't think it was you, but I think you sent it to me. That summed up the Rider season with 5 O linemen basically.
Oh yeah,
pacing down their own quarterback to try to get in front of them.
Yeah.
That's not going to be an issue with Harris. I mean, 3 seconds, that ball's going to be out.
Yeah.
Which can also lead to the issues of interceptions and stuff because, it's quick. Guys miss breaks. Stuff like that happens too. But he has the ability to hide warts on that offensive line that Fajardo didn't.
Yeah. Who we'll see what they do in Montreal.
And they lost some pretty big targets.
Yeah. They did. And I think Sean Bain's a little bit under the radar. Oh, he's not a big guy. So,
but so he might literally be
he's
under the radar.
He is a speedster. Now I know they bring in Winicky, he's 6'4", Schaefer Baker 6'4", Lenny is 6'5", so they do have some big bodies anyway. And Schaefer Baker, they need to find a way to consistently get him the ball this coming year.
Yeah. Winicky is probably going to have a rebound year, you would hope.
Yeah.
And guys like Schaefer Baker and
they're bringing in Breskison and Lennius and
Lennius. Those are guys that got to take kind of a step up because Shaq Evans is gone, Duke is all these guys are gone. You're going to get moved up the depth chart. You have to start producing.
Schaefer Baker's only 24.
If they take that step forward, right? Yeah, and I thought he had a great year last year. It's just circumstances.
Yeah, he's one of the best receivers after the catch. He had 412 yards after catch last year. 200
shake and bake, baby.
Yeah, so he had 960 yards. There's no reason that they shouldn't have him over that 1,000-yard mark this year. Winicky will probably he'll have pressure on him too, and Harris will be familiar with him. So that goes a long way to helping out that Rider offense. Mentioned Winnipeg a little bit already. They're keeping that core together. Lawler's back. Rasheed Bailey sticking around. Dembski sticking around.
Guys are getting picked off that roster though.
Little
one
by
here,
little.
one there, one here. Little by little.
Well, and I think
shame.
There were at times last year when the O-line wasn't as dominant as what we've come to know. And same with the D-line. Maybe they were getting the pressures that it's not really measured by stats. They weren't getting the sack numbers that they were getting in years past. So, and that kind of can leave your DBs out to dry a little bit. But Collaros was making the plays that he needed to make when he needed to make them. So it wasn't the dominant Bomber offense from their first 2 championships.
That was the most beatable we've seen them in the last 3 years.
Yep. Yeah, but they still got Big Hill, and they're making it happen. Pretty good job again by Kyle Walters and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Calgary Stampeders, this always happens with them. They kind of wait for guys to take their guys and pay them more, and they're able to have these under-the-radar signings. Jameer Thurman's gone. They've lost Sankey. I know that was last offseason, but now they bring in Micah Alway. And we've seen this. Even Corey Greenwood was a couple of years ago. He comes to Calgary, and it's like he's his old self, and he's just this dominant linebacker. We might be in for a career year for Micah Alway here. He's going to
have a record in concussions and injuries of receivers cutting across the middle.
Those poor running backs in the West Division. that have to deal.
Yeah.
So Awe
Head-on
Judge,
collisions.
and they were able to bring in Jamal Campbell. He was a right tackle last year with the Rough Riders, but Kadeem Carey sticking around there. And Calgary they've always got these guys stashed, and they're a team.
Peyton Logan last year.
Yeah, I'll never count them out because there's always these receivers that appear out of nowhere, and it's like, where's this guy been? Yeah, he's been on the PR for a year and a half, and all of a sudden he comes out and has an explosive year.
Are you doing a Michael Ball impression right now and saying that they're like paying guys too much to stick around?
Hey, maybe that we got to watch for their ownership situation too. There were kind of some rumblings during the Grey Cup that something would be going on in Calgary, but Malik Henry was that guy last year where he's only 25 years old and he has 1,000 yards in 13 games. Well, when half of them come against Edmonton.
Hey, you don't get to pick who you play.
Yeah.
But like you're saying that like all these guys leave and they get these guys that come in and they kind of have a resurgence. I think it's because Calgary, when they bring guys in, they don't they know what they want and that's who they bring in.
Yeah.
Like that style of player for that position. This is what they want them to do. So they don't have to change what the guy does. Right? It's not like, if you were to take Willie Jefferson somewhere and all of a sudden not let him pass rush, would he be that good at kind of like covering running backs out of the backfield? Probably eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's probably going to get burned a lot too to start. But like a guy like Michael Awe comes in, you let him play like he plays, like it solidifies your defense even more. You don't change him, just let him do his thing. That's what Calgary does.
Watching Edmonton this year is going to be, oh man.
They're making the playoffs.
They are. I think they really are. I think it's kind of the same problem. Like Cornelius has a rifle of an arm. I'm not going to dispute that, but it's kind of the Chris Jones zero quarterback strategy, like they did in Saskatchewan, trying to win games with your defense. Like I've never watched a team like that.
Let's not kid ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves. Chris Jones isn't the only coach in Saskatchewan to play without a quarterback.
Yeah. I remember watching. I can't remember a team where you were more excited to watch defense. Maybe some of those Steelers teams that you've been a fan of than
Baltimore Ravens, the 0-1 Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
They had Trent Dilfer. He's more exciting as a coach in high school than he is as a quarterback.
And you'd rather watch your team play defense.
I hate the Ravens.
There's something wrong with that. Some of those Bears
the
teams.
Charlie Batch years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and they still had was that Jim McMahon?
Yeah.
With the Bears, like he was still fun to watch, but yeah,
Bears. Some great references.
The defense is.
That's for the
Polish
YouTube
sausage.
viewers. Please subscribe on
boss.
YouTube.
Or don't.
Man.
Yeah, well, if you do, you get to see this glorious mustache.
The mustache. That receiving core now in Edmonton. Dylan Mitchell, another year there. Geno Lewis, big money. I wasn't sure that there was going to be another $300,000 receiver.
This has to be the last year that it happens. This has to be the last
until
year
next year.
If it doesn't work, you can't do it anymore.
$320K. Good for Geno Lewis. That guy he should sell some jerseys. He should sell tickets in Edmonton. Well, guaranteed win nights coming up against Saskatchewan in June. So they've got Geno.
They kind of have to go to that just to watch the world burn.
Dunbar, Mitchell. They signed Kyron Moore. Manny Arsenault's there for one more ride. Like there is some talent in that receiving core, and we get a full season of Kevin Brown. the running back who came on last year, he had over 6.5 yards a carry, over 74 carries. So that guy.
Another year, Chris Jones adding guys on the defensive side of the ball. We know him as a defensive guru. He's got the guys he wants. Maybe not everywhere yet, but the majority of them have got to be in place now, and that defense is going to be vastly improved.
Yeah. Well, now they got AC Leonard on the defensive line, Leonard and Seresna, and the defense is going. Obviously, they have to be better. He's bringing in guys that
can't be worse.
Familiar with his system from his time in Saskatchewan. So there's going to be a lot of familiar guys to Chris Jones anyway that know his defense. It didn't even mention Kyle Loxley. Oh, who do you not want me to mention?
It's on the prep sheet.
The third quarter stretch in Edmonton has been a rich tradition. For the past, 70 years. And Brian Hall changing his roles at the broadcaster of the Edmonton Elks, 630 Ched, 70 years broadcasting the team. It is. It doesn't matter what job you're doing.
No, yeah. If I'm at this job for 70 years, kill me. I don't even like it now when I'm in year 13.
He was still doing daily sportscasts with the station. Now he's only going to do it weekly. He's still there. Last year, they were in the third quarter thing. I don't know.
Some of those are rough.
I think maybe there was probably some audio issues. He couldn't hear what was going on, but
just cut the mic. Cut the mic.
Yeah. And Halsey, the best ad read in the business.
The printer one?
Well, Tony Roma's paying for 30 seconds and getting about 5 minutes. No wonder Roma's is closing locations without Daily Halsey on the air.
No kidding. For as much as I make fun of Brian Hall, been one of the best advocates this league has ever had.
We need more personalities like that, man.
And guys that love the game, guys that want to cover the game, guys that want to protect the game. That's what Halsey wants. And you can tell that he loves this league, loves the Elks.
Yeah.
It's in his blood.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of people that need to be working for teams and in the league and for the league and stuff like that. And it just goes 70 years. He's not working. This isn't work to him.
No.
And you can tell because he has fun. And I make fun of the between third and fourth quarters and whatever because he yells a little bit in the microphone. I mean, I grew up with Hall on 630 Ched. I thought he would die on air. I didn't think he'd ever slow down.
Yeah, what a remarkable career from Halsey. This episode,
how old, if he's been there for 70 years, how old is he?
Did he start there when he was 10? Man, I almost want to. Oh, he was born in 1934. 88?
So he started there when he was 18.
Yeah.
So
one job his whole life. Maybe he had a paper route or something, but wow. That is absolutely incredible.
That's beyond impressive.
Yeah. Wow. Well done for Mr. Brian Hall. If I'm here at 88 doing 2 and out.
Yeah.
Imagine that for a second. Imagine
Statler and Waldorf.
This episode of Two and Out brought to you by Taproot Spotlight, a service that helps businesses and organizations pay attention to the people they serve. Taproot tells you the news about the people and companies that are important to you. You can use that information internally to keep everyone on the same page, or share it with the world in your newsletter, on your website, and on your social media channels. Paying attention pays dividends. You can find out more at taprootpublishing.ca/spotlight. It's taprootpublishing.ca/spotlight. We're coming into combine season of the CFL, not harvest. That's coming up.
Okay.
6 months or so. So there'll be a lot of stuff still happening in the CFL. It seems like rosters have kind of taken shape for the most part. We still somehow find things to talk about. Will we be able to get a player and give him the old 2-and-out bump? Because last year, I'm taking credit for that Jalen Ackland stuff.
Jalen Ackland season, 100%. There's no question that was all us.
Maybe we're just going to ask him again.
Maybe we should try to get Dane on.
Hey, if he's listened to us before,
there's no way. Bet you will never get Tony Washington again.
You can rate, review, and subscribe to Two and Out on your favorite podcatcher and YouTube. We will talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.